Now, the former president denies ever having had an affair with Stormy Daniels. Do I believe that? Of course not. Do I think he paid the money to Daniels for exactly the reasons Cohn claims? Yeah. But that does not mean the criminal charges should be brought in this case at this time against this defendant. And to those on the left who say, well, if it was me or anyone else, he would be charged. Why is this any different? I say that's not true. Any good prosecutor should look at this old, relatively minor, and difficult case with a tainted star witness and say, not worth it. But I fear this prosecutor is allowing politics to seep into a case that is already fraught with allegations of bias. Now that the criminal tax and bank fraud cases have fizzled legally, this one has the feel of a desperate long shot. Joining me now, someone with a different perspective, Catherine Christian, a former assistant district attorney with the Manhattan DA's office. Thank you so much for coming back on the show. Appreciate it. All right, so what do you think I'm getting wrong here?
Well, I think you're saying, I'm not going to say you're getting anything wrong because you have a strong opinion, you're entitled to it. I think you're saying two things. One, if you're going to go after a king, you better kill him. And two, this is a very difficult case, very hard to prove why you're doing it. And I don't think that should be the deciding factor about whether you should prosecute. And, you know, it is. And I'm not on the left. You said the left will say if it was Joe Blow, we'd be going after him. I think if you have the proof and you have the evidence beyond a reasonable doubt, that you should go for it. And just, you know, look, Mr. Trump has a case, an investigation involving the special counsel Jack Smith. He has a case in Georgia. He has in the Southern District a civil rape case. So of course he's going to say all of these cases are a witch hunt.
But I guess my point is that in this case, he actually has a legitimate argument. I think much more so than in some of the other cases. I mean, you know, you made the point that if you think you have the evidence, you should go for it. As you know, prosecutors every day, and you had to make these hard decisions every day when you were in that office, when someone would come to you and they would say, you know, look, we want to bring this case, and you'd say, okay, yeah, well, maybe we'd get a conviction, but you know what? We've got to make prosecutorial decisions every day because we've got limited resources. We've got a limited number of times we can go after someone. And when you're talking about the former president of the United States, you disagree with me that the case ought to be big and it ought to be clean?
I disagree that it ought to be big. And it's a felony. And I appreciate that you said it's going to be a difficult felony to prove, because the felony, you have to prove that he intended to commit a crime or conceal a crime. And that crime would be the New York State election law. And that is going to be very tough to prove. Does not mean they can't prove it. They will be, you know, a motion to dismiss the indictment. Let's see what the judge decides on that. And the judge may say it's a legitimate indictment, and then it will go to trial, or Mr. Trump will plead guilty. So I disagree that you need to have a big case with a rock crusher, as they call it in prosecution land, rock crusher evidence, because it's the former president of the United States. Look, I just disagree with that.
So Michael Cohen has been on this show. I believe a lot of what Michael Cohen has said, and yet, as your star witness, it's a real problem.
Definitely.
So again, I come back to this question and forget about even the legal side of the felony and the misdemeanor. Michael Cohen is your star witness, a guy who has recently pled guilty to a whole slew of crimes, including making false statements. Doesn't even that alone lead you to say, my goodness, this is going to be a really tough case? And I'm going to ask you a second part of that question. And doesn't that also factors into my thinking on why I think this is so political? The timing of all of this just seems so suspicious to me, in conjunction with the fact that you have a difficult case. And those two things together are why I'm so suspicious of this.
Well, first of all, prosecutors often, unfortunately, have to use what we call people with an unfortunate past. And the person who knows you best when you're engaged in criminal activity is often the person who is the best witness. And yes, he has been convicted of lying. That is not good. When you just saw him right after he testifies in a grand jury, he's speaking about it and talking about Mr. Trump in a negative light. If I'm the prosecutor in that case, I'm cringing now, because that's the last thing you want your witness to do. So I'm with you on that. But I just think of John Gotti. Who was the main witness there? Someone who confessed to committing 19 murders. You have to often use people who are very, very bad.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.